They finally made a game that allows you to play as Jesus Christ himself. And it's called I Am Jesus Christ. Prologue. Turn water into wine. Turn wine into urine. Flirt with a little cutie named Mary. And go inside of a little boy. Oh, to eradicate his flu with your godlike powers. Yeah, got it. I could not wait to play this. How could I not be excited? You would think that a video game that allows you to play as the main character from the Bible would be chock full of excitement. But instead, it's chock full of excrement. You spend a lot of time walking.
Blessed are those who are...
A lot of time talking.
Yes, Jesus?
And a little time docking. So yeah, this game is actually pretty boring. But that's only because it's remaining faithful to the book it was based off of. The actual gameplay is very sparse, consisting of picking up and eating berries, holding left click to turn water into wine, to fish, and to heal a sick child. There's a bare-bones combat mechanic that has you pulling enemies towards you with your right hand and deflecting their attacks with the left. But using your Catholic powers drains your power meter, or as the Bible calls it, Jesus juice. So to replenish your juice, you just hold R to reload. And that's pretty much it. All of the gameplay is delivered to the player in between long walks, talks, loading screens, and unskippable cutscenes. So naturally, after finishing the game, I didn't think very much of it. In fact, I was almost offended by how boring it was. 30 years later feels about right to me. But I was able to turn the other cheek and call it a day. And later that night, I had an idea, a conception that was immaculate. What if I were to speedrun I Am Jesus Christ? I rushed to my PC so I could check the official speedrunning website, and there were only 7 brave Catholics who had the same idea as me, with the world record holder being FOK with a time of 23 minutes and 17 seconds. And so I watched his speedrun, and even as a non-believer, I could tell that some of his plays were a little sloppy. Whoa! Did you see that? He just lost 2 seconds because he got stuck on St. Peter. I think I can beat him. But in order to properly set the stage, I need to take you guys back in time. A few years ago, I made a review of Far Cry 5, and the Far Cry fans were not kind to me in the comments. So for a follow-up video, I called a phone sex worker named Mandy and read some of those mean comments out loud to her.
What kind of comments are this asshole and bitches making?
During that phone call, she also told me something that I subconsciously always knew to be true, but was far too humble to say out loud.
You can be like the God of War, like the Rad Brad. The God of War, you know that game that he's got going on?
Yeah.
You can be the God of video games.
I am. I think
you
I
are.
am. Yeah.
You're definitely the God of video games.
Thank you so much. Thanks to I Am Jesus Christ, I had been blessed with an opportunity to fulfill my destiny and cement myself as the true God of video games. My entire reputation is on the line here, so the stakes could not be higher. I quickly got to work and did a practice run at 2 a.m. where I got a time of 26 minutes and 26 seconds, putting me in 4th place. All I needed to do was trim off 3 minutes and 14 seconds, an eternity in the realm of speedrunning. Let's get to work. Now, I had a lot of preparation before me, so I studied the techniques of the fastest I Am Jesus Christ players in the world, threw on my Pope costume for a live stream, and got some tools ready for my journey. I have brought with me for my pilgrimage gamer subs. Yes, and it's my favorite flavor, pineapple, in a custom water bottle. If you use the code RENSReviews, you get 10% off gamer subs, and I'll get 30% of the purchase so that I can donate to the church. And then I have my holy water here for when the gamer subs gets a little too much. And then, check this out, I got Adderall. This is prescription Adderall, it's legal. And ever since I got them, I just can't stop poping pills. So join me, if you will, on my pilgrimage to once and for all become the God of video games.
Sing a song of hope, sing a song of joy, for the glory of the
The game starts off with a 1-minute-long, unskippable cutscene where an angel visits Jesus in his sleep, urging him to seek out John the Baptist. As soon as Jesus gets out of bed, the timer starts, and we're off to the races. Now, ordinarily in the game, you're expected to talk to Mother Mary. Mother Mary tells you to ask the merchants in Nazareth if they know anything about John the Baptist, so you talk to 3 merchants, and the last one you talk to tells you to go talk to an ally of John the Baptist. But luckily, pretty much all of that can be skipped if you simply just run straight toward the ally of John the Baptist, who's just hanging out at the bottom of Nazareth here. Which brings us to our very first trick. Now, ordinarily, the B key doesn't have any use in this game as far as I can tell. However, if you tap the B key repeatedly while moving, it causes Jesus to lurch forward, giving him a significant speed boost. I call this one the sandal stumble or CrossFit. I'll tell you more about it later because there's no time right now. We're already on our second trick. If you jump on this fence and tap the B key, it gives you a biblical bump into the air, allowing Jesus to pick up even more speed as he soars towards the heavens. If you continue to mash the B key, Jesus will skip along the ground with amazing grace. However, amazing grace can only be attained when Jesus is on a downward slope, and CrossFit seems to work best if Jesus is facing north or south. Strangely enough, when you do CrossFit while facing, say, to the east, each press of the key will slightly pull Jesus toward the south, making the sandal stumble slightly less efficient. And even though these tricks are pretty basic, they're still really satisfying to pull off. There's something deviously sinful about honing a set of skills that the developers never intended for you to have to play their game in a way that they didn't intend for you to play. I was actually having a pretty decent time with all of this. There it is. That biblical bump that gave me a real passion for the Christ. Now we cut to nighttime, where you must speak with Mother Mary before going down to talk to the ally of John the Baptist again to end the chapter. But this time, there's a twist. The fence we had used for our first biblical bump earlier has now suddenly doubled in size, meaning we can no longer jump onto it. Luckily though, this is easily circumnavigated. And after that, it's just a mad dash towards the ally of John the Baptist.
All my life I dream, I dream, I dream, I dream. Dreamt to reign supreme, supreme, supreme.
Chapter 2 is simple. All you gotta do is open your inventory, eat some berries, and CrossFit to another berry bush, pick some more berries, then eat those berries before CrossFitting towards John the Baptist himself, who then grants you the ability to hold left click and fill up your Jesus juice. However, if you don't eat enough berries, God will put up an invisible wall that blocks you from getting baptized.
He ate nothing during those days, and at the end of them, he was hungry.
Yeah, okay. What else would he be? And now we come to Jesus' 40-day trek through the desert. This chapter serves as the tutorial for the game's combat system. To activate phase 1 of the tutorial, you simply run towards the objective, which is a few hundred meters away. Because apparently, this specific circle in the desert is the only place in the whole wide world where Jesus' guardian angel can teach him how to deflect projectiles. Now, to progress here, you're meant to deflect a total of 3 projectiles, but if you let her blast get close enough to you, and then spam left click, you can deflect this one projectile 3 or 4 times, meaning you've fulfilled your obligation of deflecting 3 blasts for the price of 1, which saves about 10 to 20 seconds. To activate phase 2 of the tutorial, you simply run towards another objective for a few hundred meters, where your guardian angel then tells you how to pull an enemy towards you by holding the right click. I like the typo, it says F you noticed. F you in the Bible game. To activate phase 3 of the tutorial, you simply run towards yet another objective for a few hundred meters before being told that you can in fact reload your Jesus juice by holding the R key. Oh, we reloaded. And to activate the 4th and final phase of the tutorial, you once again run a few hundred meters towards another objective, where you then put all 3 of the mechanics you've just learned to the test in a battle against your guardian angel. Hit him up. Take that, you fucker. After that, you're forced to sit through a 2.5 minute long, unskippable cutscene, where the devil comes to visit you and tries to convince you to join him by taking the form of people Jesus trusts the most.
Come on. Why are you hurting yourself for 40 days?
He's
If
Southern.
you are the Son of God, command this stone to become bread.
Command this stone to become bread. Then you get to battle the devil himself, and this, in my opinion, is the encounter that can make or break a speedrun. Because the devil has a lot of RNG. He's a bit of a Lucifer cannon, Beelzebumbling his way throughout the arena, sometimes running away from you at random and creating a lot of distance. He needs to be at least 30 meters away from you when you deflect his blasts, otherwise he will most likely be able to dodge it. Even then, he still has a chance to dodge at 30 meters, so ideally you want to be 20 meters away for a guaranteed hit. What? When he gets down to half health, he runs really far away from you, so positioning is key. In FOK's world record run, he bum rushed the devil, and as a result, the devil was able to leave the arena, meaning FOK could only close the gap by holding right-click to bring Satan closer. Now, I've fallen into this trap quite a few times myself, but if you position yourself mindfully enough to try to keep him in the center of the arena, the devil won't go as far away when he leaves the combat zone, meaning you can crossfit towards him while pulling him towards you to close that gap much quicker. You also need to keep a close eye on your Jesus juice because it depletes pretty quickly. It takes about 1/3 of a meter to deflect a blast, and you want to make sure you have enough juice because the devil only shoots once every 5 to 10 seconds. So if you don't have enough juice to get a deflection off, you waste those 5 to 10 seconds and run the risk of having him move away from you again. After hitting him 6 times, he becomes dead. This part of the game is far and away the most skill-intensive portion of I Am Jesus Christ. After defeating him, you are then treated to another 2.5 minute long, unskippable cutscene where the devil threatens you and the world at large.
I will enter their bodies and put my diseases inside.
What?
I will boil their minds.
I find unskippable cutscenes to be the cardinal sin of gaming, but I was still able to utilize that time efficiently by catching up with the chat. I feel like Mother Mary is like every frat guy's worst nightmare, you know? Because this chick gets pregnant before you even have sex with her, and by taking a quick trip to the bathroom. Because this cutscene is unskippable, I'm gonna go take a huge pope.
Rachel is a faithful daughter, only drinking holy water.
Chapter 4 is another simple one. You crossfit down to the docks, talk to a fisherman, then gather fish for him by holding left click to grab the fish and pull them towards his boat. Ordinarily, the game wants you to hold left click for 5 seconds, then also hold right click before banking the fish, but as long as you hold left click for about 3 seconds, you can just ignore all that nonsense and bank the fish anyhow. Once you do that, you're on to Chapter 5.
Sing, amen, amen, rejoice, amen, amen, glory be to God, amen, amen.
Chapter 5 is simple as well. You crossfit down to this little party, talk to some guy, then astral project yourself over to a few jugs of water and turn them into wine by holding left click. Once that's done, you talk to the guy again, then the screen fades to black. Then you talk to the same guy again, for the 3rd time now, then the screen fades to black. You're teleported to a new location, where you then talk to this guy again for the 4th time, then the screen fades to black. Now you talk to a new guy, and the screen fades to black. You've been teleported back to the wine jugs, where you talk to this guy again for the 2nd time, and the screen fades to black. Things really start to heat up in Chapter 6 as you talk to a Roman soldier who has a sick son and begs you for help. So you astrally project yourself inside of a little boy to cure his COVID. It's a good thing we're helping him though, because this kid is so sick that his veins have become gravelly, sounding like dirt beneath Jesus' sandal. But I suppose when you think about it, we are all dirt under the sandal of Jesus. I think the game expects you to sit still and stare at the virus as you destroy it, but as long as you hold left click, you can turn around and crossfit on over to the next virus while simultaneously destroying the virus behind you. You just gotta do this 4 times, then do a big mega heal to expunge the sand from the boy's veins, zoom out, travel back to Jesus, then we talk to the kid's dad, then we talk to these 2 fellas, and that's it. After that, the game ends. So yeah, the entire game took me about 10 minutes to explain. But can it be beat in under 23 minutes and 17 seconds? This is still a bit of a practice run. I think 3 or 4 tries, world record will be mine. This one was a bit of a practice run still. My biblical bumps were a little sloppy, and I fumbled a little bit with the bushes and berries in Chapter 2 because I was getting used to the keybinds I implemented onto my keypad. And my fight with the devil was pitiful, taking me just over 1 minute. I finished this run in 25 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay, so that's a minute faster than my first run through. I forgot to talk to Mother Mary on my way to meet the ally of John the Baptist at night, so I had to completely restart the run. Wait, what? That's okay. Uh-oh, the game crashed. Things were going relatively well here. My CrossFit stride timing was improving, my biblical bumps were getting really solid, and my fight with the devil was pretty clean, taking me only 45 seconds to defeat him. It was actually looking like I was on pace for a world record here. So to celebrate, I decided to play with my dog Babadook during the unskippable cutscene. He'll push his butt into my foot so that I push it. Which, as it turns out, may have cursed my run. Game crashed. No! The game crashed! I couldn't get the game to launch after it had crashed, so I had to verify the integrity of the game files on Steam. Then after that, when I rebooted the game, it stopped reading any and all inputs from my keypad. Are you serious? So because I had to verify the integrity of the game's files, I was forced to replay a couple of tutorials that the game requires you to complete on your very first playthrough. It's a little strange because some of these mechanics are never used once in the entire game. But after completing the tutorials, they never show up in the game again, unless of course you have to verify the game files. So thanks to that, I wound up with a time of 28 minutes and 52 seconds. I was starting to feel really confident here. My biblical bumps were the best they've ever been. I did kind of flub my ladder skip. But my berry picking and eating were flawless. So during the unskippable cutscene, I took that time to drink some holy water and relax my nerves. I can almost do an upskirt. But I didn't do too hot in my duke against the devil. No, the devil! It took me 1 minute and 4 seconds to defeat him. Now, even though I could have done better here, I was still on pace for a world record. Okay, check it out. I can clasp my feet. You know how you do this with your hands? I can do it with my toes. You see that? A perfect clasp. How cool. And now we pray. Our Father, who does art in heaven, hallowed by thy hollow night. What is it? Everything that followed went relatively smoothly. I did well at the docks. Turning water into wine is nearly impossible to fail, and I cured that kid's viral infection in no time at all. The world record was within my grasp, but the timing was going to be really tight. There would only be seconds to spare. Come on! It's not gonna... Come on! Come on! Oh my God! Put me in my body! Was that it? I think that was it. No, it wasn't. Overwhelmed with adrenaline, I stopped the timer before the game was actually over. If I hadn't done that, I probably would have beaten the world record by a couple of seconds. I will confess I was a little demoralized, but I asked myself, what would Jesus do? So I had one last gamer supper and dusted myself off before trying again. My biblical bumps were miraculous. I burned through the bushes and berries, slam dunked my baptism, nailed my CrossFit in the desert. This was my best run yet. All I needed to guarantee my entry into the pearly gates of speedrun.com was a quick battle against the devil. But I had to play this perfectly. That was a good devil fight. That was my best devil. That was my best devil. Yes. Okay. Now the pressure is on. My docking was heavenly. My transference of wine into water went smooth as ever. Yes. And at this point, I was without a doubt on pace for a world record. And as a result, the stress, pressure, and adrenaline from the thrill of it all was beginning to become too much to bear. Oh man, my heart is pounding. Much like the nails on the cross. As I went into the game's final chapter, I spoke with the Roman soldier, entered into his kid's veins. I think I got this, actually. And unclogged his arteries. Okay, come on. I think we might get a sub 23. Return to your son. He's filled with heals. Come on, baby. That right there is a world record. I did it! That's the way, baby! Yeah, bitch! Check it out! We celebrate! Yeah, baby! Woo! Take that, the devil! But our story doesn't end there. Immediately after I submitted my run, FOK saw it. He happens to be a moderator on speedrun.com. He of course attempted to beat my time, but failed. Except, not really. Because you see, he changed the leaderboards to account for load times. Apparently my PC loaded up the levels faster than his did, meaning he had technically beaten my time. However, it was not an honest victory. You see, he used a macro for his CrossFit, meaning he had some program turbo pressing the B key several times per second, making his Jesus fly, giving him a new time of 18 minutes and 9 seconds. But I kind of felt like using a macro like that bordered on cheating, which I really didn't care for. But hey, two can play at that game. But 20 presses per second wasn't enough. I still wasn't moving as quickly as FOK, so I asked him how he was able to move that fast. It turns out he was using an external program to map his B key to his scroll wheel on his mouse, which he would then unlock, allowing it to scroll freely without any resistance. Luckily, I was also able to pull this off thanks to my Logitech mouse. If I didn't have this mouse though, I would not have been able to compete in the run. In a quick experiment, I was able to determine that with this method, it was very easy to perform upwards of 384 inputs of the B key within just 1 second, making my Jesus unbelievably fast.
Hello, Jesus.
FOK should not have told me how to pull this off, because I beat him again. And I made sure to leave him a personal little message at the end of the video. That's the world record. I beat him by a full second. Well, look at that, FOK. It looks like I beat your record again. You know, I meant what I said in that DM I wrote you. I will boil your mind, and I will put my diseases in you. Yeah. Well, you know what though? This was really fun, but I think I'm done. Except I wasn't done there. I knew 1 second wasn't enough. I knew that he would beat my time again. So before I even submitted this new world record, I ran through the game again. And this time, I broke my previous record, clocking in at 17 minutes and 56 seconds. Woo! Woo! Under 18 minutes! But I wasn't going to upload the 17-minute 50-second run until he beat my previous run of 18 minutes and 8 seconds just to get inside of his head. And FOK, I would just like you to know that today's date is the 11th of February. I really just want it to sink in that I had already beaten you before you had beaten me. And the only reason I did that was because I thought it would be funny for the video. So I did it. What's even funnier is, after all that, we actually tied. We both had a time of 17 minutes and 56 seconds. Definitely didn't see that coming. Now, I knew I could refine my time and beat this guy again. Maybe get it down to 17 minutes and 50 seconds and call it a day. But like I said, I wanted to boil this guy's mind. So what I did was I took the time to experiment within the game. Something I hadn't really done up until this point. In my research, I found that if you CrossFit straight toward the shoreline in Chapter 4, and then run straight towards the docks while flicking the mouse over to the left to get an extra speed boost while CrossFitting, the chapter just ends when you reach the docks, skipping the entire fishing segment, trimming off something like 20 or 30 seconds. Oh my god, I'm gonna do it again. I was able to re-trigger this skip a few times without issue, but after I closed the game and booted it back up the next day, I couldn't get this trick to work anymore. I have no clue what I did to make it work in the first place. But while attempting to recreate the trick, I also figured out something else. You know how earlier in the video I said that you can only CrossFit while facing north or south? With the exception of Chapter 4, where for some reason it only works if you're facing east or west. Well, if you face north or south but hold right or left on the keyboard, you can CrossFit sideways. Now this is a game changer. In Chapter 2, you're meant to run in a straight line facing west for a total of like 300 to 400 meters. And that used to take nearly 2 minutes to do since you're forced to face west. But now, you can reach John the Baptist in roughly 45 seconds. Thanks to my discovery, I had once again shattered FOK's world record with a time of 16 minutes and 32 seconds. That is it, right there. 16 minutes and 32 seconds, baby! And I feel good ending it there. Not only was I able to beat FOK at his own game, but I was also able to find some tricks of my own, which I'm really pleased with. I hope that this video inspires people to start speedrunning I Am Jesus Christ themselves, because it's actually super fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.